Elon Musk had a lot of criticism about the F-35 program, and especially he was comparing it to how the drone warfare has changed the modern battlefield. And in that battlefield, F-35 is not, well, I think he used the word useless, which I don't know if I would agree at all, but you know this more than most people. And how would you see that? Like, you've been to Ukraine, you've followed their innovation in drones and
It's
everything.
incredible. Yeah, I've been there 6 times already just since the 2022 invasion. And the first time I was there, they were actually still part of the Soviet Union. So to watch over time, over the decades from then, and would go periodically when I was in uniform for various purposes, even when as a full colonel, when I was a brigade commander in the 82nd, because we had a Ukrainian unit with us in the U.S., they had to reciprocate and so forth. Look, I think let's not get into I think there still is a role for a very sophisticated stealth fighter with a man in the cockpit the way you have in the F-35. But that said, there is a massive role for what we need much, much more of, and that is unmanned systems of all types, under the water, on the surface of the water, in the air, on ground, in space, in cyberspace, the equivalent, even in cognitive space. Another one of the domains, if you will, of hybrid warfare. So you do need much, much more in the way of unmanned systems. And what is increasingly becoming obvious is that these will no longer be all remotely piloted. Increasingly, they're going to be algorithmically piloted. So the man in the loop, literally flying, and the bulk of the drones in Ukraine still are flown by individual operators, incredibly well trained and skilled, often first person view for the suicide drones that are so dramatic and how they hunt these systems down, can literally take out a tank, take out an artillery piece, an infantry fighting vehicle, et cetera. They've made those untenable actually on the battlefield. Traditional combined arms warfare, which was what we saw for the first year and a half or so, just is no longer viable. There are other means that they have to go about this. But over time, it's going to become algorithms that are driving these systems and that have been programmed. Increasingly, the AI LLM will write the program. There will be some instructions by a human about what key activities, what key elements have to be established before the system takes a kinetic or non-kinetic action. But they're going to then carry it out themselves. And so what we do need to do, and this is very simplistic, but it conveys I think, an urgent need, is to transition some of our, what are currently very large, incredibly expensive, exquisitely capable, heavily manned, and increasingly vulnerable platforms of all types, on the sea, in the air, on ground, from those to a massive number. Keep in mind that the Ukrainians are using on some days nearly 7,000 drones in a single day. Now, they don't all blow up. Many of them come back. There are some that just go out and performing surveillance. Others are suicide drones. Others are just unmanned ground systems going to and from the front lines. That's increasingly how they do it. It's too dangerous for human drivers to be in them, so they are actually remotely driven. There are remote control weapon systems. Again, the number of these is just extraordinary. And I did ask General Syrskyi, the overall Ukrainian commander, the last time I was there about 2 or 3 months ago, how many drones did you use yesterday of all different types? Keep in mind, there's maritime drones too. You know, the way that Russia has sunk 1/3 of the Russian Black Sea Fleet without a navy of their own is actually maritime
Yeah.
drones. That they're found by aerial drones, and then maritime drones drive into them and sink them. So he said nearly 7,000. Again, that's just a number that's hard to actually appreciate, to comprehend, but that's what's going on. And this year, to enable that kind of numbers on a daily basis, the Ukrainians are going to make 3.5 million drones of all types. Unmanned systems would be a better way to term it. We
Yeah.
have to do much, much more to transition to that concept. And we need to start with a different concept for at least the very high end warfare. Because again, don't get me wrong, you still need all other capabilities for different types of warfare. But for big, full on conventional war, such as we see on the battlefields in Ukraine and also in the skies every night into Russia and into Ukraine from Russia, for that kind of warfare, um, we really need to transform our forces, again, from large platforms to unmanned systems of all types, again, underwater, surface, air, ground, space, and so on.